Hey Will and Debbie, it's Brianna here with Abby. As you know, before we get started with her grooming, just a few things to go over. Before you're going to groom her, it's best to be in a calm mood so that she doesn't pick up on any nervousness, because they do pick up on that. She might cry or whine a little bit throughout the grooming, but just know that that's normal for most dogs, especially when they're away from their owners. She might cry a little bit less when it's with you guys, but so yeah, just be patient with her, be confident in what you're doing. I know the first couple times you'll be a bit nervous, and also try not to let her get away with anything that she shouldn't. Like, I don't know if she would ever try and like nip you. She hasn't done that to me, but I don't think she would ever do that to you guys. So, but just be firm and be confident in what you're doing. And also, one thing that I try and tell people to not do is talk in a baby voice to them. Like, when you go into grooming mode, you don't turn into like, you're not her mommy still. You're her groomer, so you have to be a bit more like assertive. I try not to do the baby voice of saying like, it's okay, because that reassures them in their negative behavior. What you can do if she's getting a little bit upset is you just say, it's okay, you're fine, like in a calm voice, so that she understands that everything's going to be fine and she doesn't need to be afraid. So yeah, we will get started. What I first start with is shaving her tummy and her bum, her armpits, and her little pads. So we'll get started with that. Okay, so with this part, you'll want to take your number 10 blade, or 15 if you have it. 15 is a little bit shorter, but 10 is usually the one that most people would use. I'll use a 15 on her. So I usually start with her tummy. So what you do is just hold the tail and lift one leg, turn your clipper on. And you shave outwards from the thigh and then a little bit in, towards her private area. And you will have to, some people get nervous about shaving that part, but that is a really important part that you need to shave. Because if you don't and you let it get hairy and matted, eventually it could get too matted and it'll be irritating for her, and she won't be able to urinate as easily if it gets really matted. So it is really important that you shave that part just lightly. I try not to drag the clipper onto the skin, but just like a light touch. Stay smooth. The same with the other side. And you can shave a little bit down her leg as well. And now for her bum, you'll just go a little bit up over her bum with the same number blade. If there's any poo on there, you can get that off with this part. And then down a little bit as well. Alright, so now her armpits. Sit, sweetie. Good girl. So armpits, I use the same number as well. This would actually be maybe the trickier part for you guys starting off, because armpits are a little bit easier to nick. So just do your best to get the clipper in there. Sit. You can probably get a better angle from this side. Stay. Yeah, so just do your best to get the hair out of there, because that can get matted as well. Any area where there's friction, like where their legs move back and forth, there is chance of matting. Okay, so now for her pads, what I do is I get her standing up and I I take her in what's called a football hold. This is a good hold that is, I find a lot of dogs, especially if they're nervous, it's comforting for them because it's kind of like a hug. So I start with the back, so I just put my arm underneath her like this. I'll turn her to the side so you can see. And I lift up her foot. That way it's supporting her, so she's not having to put all her weight on her back foot or on her two other ones. So as you can see, her pad is fuzzy here. So I take my 15 again, and I go over the pad like this. First I just go over it like that and take the hair off, and then you go in a little bit in between the big pad here and the little ones. You don't bother going in between the toes, but where this big pad is, you can shave out the hair there, because that as well will get matted if it's not shaved out. So I'll keep doing that for each foot. So I go over top, and then just dig a little bit in lightly. And one thing you do have to watch is in between the two middle toes, there's a tendon there. It's very unlikely that you will cut that or anything with a clipper, and that's why we use clippers, because they're safer. So again, just go over top that way and watch out for those two middle ones. You don't really need to go in between the toes at all. So for the front paws, I hold her with one arm under her back legs in between. And then I lift this paw up here. Her front paws are a little bit more sensitive. She likes to try and pull away a little bit. Stay, sweetie. So again, I just get her up, get her standing, and try again. Stay, sweetie. So there we go. And for her last one, sometimes I'll just hold the arm like this, if she'll let me. Okay, good girl. Stay. Okay. So there's her pads done. So as you can see, you can just see each toe in the pad, and just spread it out and look and see if you can see the inside of her pad there. And once you can, then you don't have to shave anymore. You just don't want there to be big clumps of matting. One thing that I like to do that not all groomers do, sit, sweetie, sit, is right in front of her ear. I just like to shave out a little spot just to make sure she's getting a lot of airflow to her ears. So I'll just open the ear like this, and then just lightly take some of the bottom hair away from there, so that she's getting a lot of airflow to her ears. See? Good girl. So there we go. Before I move, because I just use this clipper all over her body, on her feet and on her bum and everything, I like to get a disinfectant spray. This is something I forgot to mention to you guys that you might need. It's also a coolant. Sit. You can get these ones at any hairdressing place. They will sell them. So I just give it a spray, stay, and dry. Because we're about to do her eyes. This part will probably be the hardest part, especially when you're first grooming her, because it is so close to her eyes and you'll feel a little bit nervous doing this. But just get her to sit. Abbie, look. Sit. So what you have to do is hold her. Abbie, sit. Good girl. You have to hang on to her chin there. It's not their favorite part, but you need to get them to be very still for this part, and especially because her eyes are sticking out a little bit further because she does have the Shih Tzu in her. So what I do is I hold her chin and a little bit of this side to keep her mouth shut. And what I'll do is I'll take the clipper down this way, and then up, out, to create a little V there to get rid of that hair in between the eyes. Abbie, stay. Okay, ready? Alright, so, stay, Abbie. Stay. So I hold her mouth shut. Stay. Yeah, she doesn't like this part. Stay. Good girl. So there's the one side you can see clipped. I know, sweetie, just wait. Sit. So in this part you might want to get whoever is grooming her, whether it's Deb or Willem, get the other person to maybe keep her sitting so that she's a bit more manageable. Stay. So now I'll hold the other side and do the same. And now I'll go up a little bit in between her eyes. Stay, sweetie, stay. And there we go. That way she is free of all the hair there. And that's where that smell comes from a lot of the times too. So do your best with that part. The few times might be tricky. You might even, I know that some people will attempt with scissors. They feel like a little bit safer just doing it that way. But I find a clipper is safer, and you do need the clipper to get down as close as we do here. Okay, so next for nail trimming is usually what I do next. I don't know if you've ever trimmed nails before, but let's see if hers are black. Yes, they are. So basically in each nail there's a quick, which is this white part here. In them it's pink though. In white nails you can see it. But basically where the nail starts to really curve and point is where you're going to trim. And I usually do that on a bit of an angle. Okay, so for nail trimming, it can also be a little bit of a tricky part for owners. Just because with this quick here, if you do cut that, it will bleed a little bit, and she'll probably cry a little bit because it does kind of hurt them. It's like a little pinch. So basically where the nail curves and points is where you're going to take off. And it's best to go little bit by little bit, closer and closer if you're nervous. When you are trimming her nail, you'll see a little bit of a, if you're getting close to the quick, you'll see a little bit of a dot in the very center as you're trimming it back. And that's good. If you get close to that, that's good. That means you're getting close to the quick and trimming them to the right length. If you do trim over it, then it will bleed a little bit. So I do the same hole, the football, what do I call it? The football hole. So I'm going to start off with her back feet. And she does have the back dew claws, so you have to look out for those. And if you actually look closely when you're doing this yourself, you'll see that the bottom half of some of her nails are a little bit clear, and you can actually see the pink quick. So you just take a little bit off at a time. So you make sure you're doing 5 nails on each foot. Stay sweet. So for her back nails, they're usually a bit shorter anyways. They're not usually as long as the front ones because they tend to push off on their back feet and grind down those nails a little bit. Okay, so here's a closer up view. So you want to find her little back dew claw, and you really only need to take a little bit off. You just want to make sure that that's not starting to curl towards or get close to her pad again. So just where the nail starts to curve there, you just take off a little bit. And I can see that little black dot in the center. That's good. That means you're getting to the right length. Stay, Abbie. Stay. Yeah, so I don't know if you can quite see that, but there's a little, it goes black, there's a little area of white and a small dot of black, and that's good. That's what you want. So here's for her next paw. This one's actually white here at the front. So we just take a little bit off. Stay, Abbie. So again, if she's starting to squirm a little bit, you just tell her no and get her back in the position that you want her to be. Stop. You're okay. Stay. So again, just take the tips off. Stay. You're fine. You're okay. You're okay. Stop. It's okay. So again, when she's starting to squirm like this, I don't really talk to her in a baby voice. You just say, you're fine, stop. So again, let's keep going here. It's okay. It's okay. Stay. She's kind of acting like it's hurting her, but it's really not. It only hurts them if you do cut the quick. She's just being a little bit of a drama queen here. Stay. You're fine. Abbie. So again, you just gotta hold her tight so that she's comforted. And last now, Abbie. Abbie, stay. Stay. You might wonder why she does squirm a little bit. A lot of the times it's from past experiences. If she has had her quick cut before, she'll be a little bit hesitant to be getting her nails cut again, because it's an experience that they remember, and it feels a little bit different than most of the other parts of grooming, because there is that little bit of that cut going on, and they don't really like the sound or how it feels. But as long as you're not cutting the quick and there's no blood, you know that you're not hurting her and that she's just overreacting a little bit from her past experiences. So just reassure her that, like, you're fine. You know, she doesn't have to worry. Okay, so next what we want to do is ear cleaning. With dogs like Abbie, sometimes they grow a little bit of hair in their ears, but she doesn't grow that much. So pretty much, I'd say every other grooming, you will want to pull those hairs out. Some people think it's really painful for them, but as you can see, it doesn't even bother her. It would be the same as like trimming or plucking our eyebrows for us. So that's what I relate it to. It's not very painful at all for them. So you'll just want to make sure that you get those out again, just so you can get a bit of airflow. Come here, sweetie. Sit. Sit. Airflow is important to prevent infection. So again, just pluck out any of those hairs. If they're really greasy and you can't hang on to them, you can just get a tiny bit of like baby powder on the edge of your fingers, and then that'll help pluck them out. What I get is a cotton ball, split it in half. Then I just put a bit of ear cleaner on it. You only need a little bit. I show her what it is just so they're not surprised, because usually they do get a little bit of a surprise because the ear cleaner is cold. So just rub it in there a little bit. She's got really good ears. Some dogs come in and their ears are really, really dirty, but her ears are pretty clean. There's like hardly anything comes up on there. So do that again for the other one. Come here, sweetie. If you do notice that one ear, sometimes one ear or both, if you're noticing them starting to get really dirty, like you'll start seeing a lot of brown wax, that could be a sign of that she's getting an infection in her ear. So you'll just want to keep up with regular cleaning, and make sure that the hair is being removed on the outside of the ear, or in the inside, sorry. All right. So next, what we'll do is her haircut, and this is all before the bath. It's best to get this stuff done before the bath, especially taking the hair off, because then you don't have to wait for it to dry. So, Abbie, sit. So because you guys want a short haircut, I'm going to take my clipper, and I'm going to do a number 7 blade, which is one that you guys will have to pick up. I actually forgot to mention that to you, but I know you haven't picked up a clipper yet. So it comes with a number 10 blade, but you'll probably want a number 7. And a number 7 will take her short, but she'll still have enough protection from the sun, from her skin. So I start at usually around the neck. Turn your clipper on. And just lightly go over her body. This is safe, like I can rub it on my arm, but the ends are prickly, so you'll just want to make sure that you're not going at her at this angle. It's more of the angle that the blade would lay on. So you can take it right up to the back of her head here, right up to her ears. You want to do all around there. And because this is before the bath, you don't have to worry too much about like being really precise and getting every angle. This is just a general so that you're not wasting your shampoo and water for that case, just washing more hair than you need to. So again, just take that over her. As you're coming down the side here, take it on a downward angle, but for this area right here, there's loose skin there. So I usually just kind of put my hand there and take it this way. You don't want to go at it this way, or you could cut the little flap of skin there. So go at it this way, on a downward angle, and a little bit going towards the front of her a little bit. So now for her legs, just come down the leg and down the thigh, and take it just forward like this, and then for her, around her bum area. And back here, there's a little leg tendon there. Don't bring the clipper down on that. That's not a good idea. So what I usually do is shave the bum area a little bit. And I just gently kind of scoop out. You just want to make sure that you're not coming down too hard on that. Sometimes I'll even go up, because that's a little bit safer. So you can bring it down over her leg and over her foot. That's okay. You'll take it a bit on the inside too. One trick that I do to get a bit further under here, because she's short, it's hard to get the clipper all the way under there. You take your other hand and you put it on the other side of her and just pull the skin a little bit. That'll bring the hair up to let you get further under there. For her tail, you can just take it to about here. Just shave that off. So now we've almost got this side done. You can take it down her chest and down her leg. It's okay, sweetie, stay. Stay. So always with front legs, they're a bit more sensitive, and they'll tend to pull their legs away a little bit. So you just have to hold on to them. Another little flap of skin to watch out for is the armpit right here. So again, you just come down over that flat. And then you can even take the back of the leg off here. Sit, sit. Stay. And then I'm going to hold her leg up and just do under her chest a bit. Alright. Now we'll move to the other side. Oops. Andrew, I don't think it's playing it right now. Can you watch so that you can move it? Okay. Is it recording still? Mm-hmm. Alright, so Abbie, stay. So now we'll just do the same thing that we did on the other side. So we start around here. So just get under that ear and on her neck. Stay, Abbie. Abbie, stay. Stay. one thing that you will have to check for. Alright, sweetie, go back in. You want to make sure that your blade, sit, that your blade isn't getting too hot. Mine's still cool. You can just test it on your wrist there, not usually the palm of your hand because it's less sensitive, so just do it on the wrist, on your wrist. If it is getting warm, you can spray it with your coolant, the disinfectant. So again, just shave all over her body. Roll the skin where you need to get to the other areas. That's a really helpful tip to use, is to roll the skin and stretch it. Because if you're stretching the skin, there's not going to be loose skin hanging around, which can sometimes get caught in the clipper if you're not watching. So always just moving the skin and stretching it. Yeah. Stay. Okay. Hey girl. See, now it's getting warm, so I'm going to spray it. Stay. So one thing that I like to do as well before the bath, because I like to try and save time where I can, and shampoo, is just to take a bit of this off up here, because we don't need all of this, especially because she's going so short. So what I do, stay sweet, stay, is I'm just going to lightly take a little bit off, just to get rid of that. And I just go in sort of a circular motion to, I'm not taking too much off. I still want a little bit to work with afterwards. Now this is up to you guys. Once you're trying it yourself, if you're finding it's too hard to maintain that little bit of a puff, because it is a lot of scissoring, and that can be difficult when you're not used to it. You could shave that if you wanted, but I think she looks a little bit cuter with just a little bit on there. And we'll take more off after. And so again, I'm just gonna, when you're scissoring her ears, just find that leather, the bottom of the ear leather. So I'm just gonna take a bit off before the bath, so we're not wasting the blow drying time or the shampoo. So just take a bit of that off. And I'm even gonna take down the sides a little bit, because she won't need all that anyways. So the key is just not to take too much off. Just what you're going to use afterwards, keep on there. And I don't bother with the tail, because you guys have liked that a bit longer. So now we're going to make our way to the bath. So before we get Abbie right in the tub, I just wanted to explain anal glands, because that is an important part of the grooming. So basically, you'll want to lift up her tail, just hold it at the base, and then right up beside her bum hole. Usually anal glands are a little bit lower than directly beside. There's two small sacs, they'll be a little bit lower than right beside her bum hole. So basically, you just kind of have to feel around a little bit. You just do it from the outside. We don't express them internally. That's something that the vets usually will handle. So basically from the outside, I'll go into further detail actually on her. I can show you, but you just feel around. You'll probably feel they'll probably be like only pea size, and you'll just want to pinch them, and that will express them. Some dogs find it a bit discomforting, but usually for the most part, it's just a quick process. So yeah. So for the bathing process, before I actually get her in the tub, because she does like to squirm a little bit, so I'll mainly tell you, bathing is pretty simple, just wet them thoroughly. I usually do the anal glands right after they're wet, before the shampoo, because you wouldn't want to dirty her clean fur. So wet them down, then you'll express the anal glands, then you get your shampoo, lather her up head to toe. The shampoo that I'm giving to you guys is safe for puppies, so that means it's tearless. So if she does get a little bit in her eyes, that's okay. I usually try to rinse it out anyways right away if I see that it's in her eyes. And especially because hers are, with the Shih Tzu, a little bit bulgy, it might be hard to avoid the first few times trying not to get it in her eye. So, so yeah, just rinse that out right away usually, just to prevent from any irritation. And then when you're rinsing her after the shampoo, if she's really dirty, you can shampoo her twice in the tub. But if not, don't worry about it. Just once will be fine. While she's in the tub and you finish shampooing, remember to rinse really thoroughly. You don't want to leave any shampoo residue on her. So just keep rinsing her until the water runs clear, and then you'll know she's all free of shampoo. Okay? Okay, so we're about to do the anal glands now that she's all wet. She's been rinsed. So you're going to want to make sure her bum is wet too. And I know hers is. Stay, sweetie. So all you do is lift the tail, just like the picture. You'll feel right around here for two little pea-sized balls. And you'll just express that, and you can see it's coming out a little bit. And you just give it a few times just to make sure you got it all. Then just rinse her bum after. It's okay, sweetie. And yeah, just give it a few squeezes, light squeezes, and then wash your hands. I usually like to do that after. So yeah, that part can be tricky, but it is important. So yeah, that's it for that. Okay, so now that she's been bathed and shampooed and everything, towel dry her. That one's pretty obvious. So just dry her in a towel if you want. I'm assuming in Mexico it'll be pretty hot most of the time, so she's probably fine to air dry. But I will be blow drying her just because it's a faster way, and it also gets the hair to stand up a bit straighter. So like for her head, the hair will be a little bit straighter and less curly, and then I'll be able to scissor it a bit easier. So yeah, you can just let her air dry if you want, or if blow drying is something that you want to do, you can probably get like either Deb or Willem to hold the blow dryer, and then I would just take your slicker brush that you have and just lightly move the hair around when you're blow drying her, and that will do the trick. Okay, so now that I have her all dry, she just finished blow drying after the bath. What I usually like to do is just go over the areas of, with your 10 blade, which is like her tummy, her bum, her pads, and armpits. Just to, once the hair's fluffier, because now it's clean, it's a bit fluffier, it's easier to get some of the hairs that were kind of sticking down before, so I like to go over those. So I'm just checking her pads now. They're pretty good. See? And once you do this after the bath, it'll give you a cleaner look. Like redoing her armpits and her tummy and stuff. It'll give it, you won't have like random hairs sticking out. Come here. Abbie, stay. So I'm just going over her pad again. I've already checked her tummy and her bum, so she's all good. On her tail, you can take off up here a little bit too, above her bum, just so that any like poo doesn't get stuck in the hairs above there. So you can see right now she's patchy and uneven because we've only taken her down with the clipper before the bath. So I'm going to get my clipper. That's just my cordless clipper. This is my bigger clipper. You can do them all with the same one, but I just find the lighter one is a little bit easier to maneuver. So now what you're going to do is take your 7 blade and go over her again. The same pattern, pretty much from here and underneath, from to toe, so from neck to toe pretty much, minus her tail. So this will, going over it again, the clean hair will give you a more finished look. And it's obviously up to your preference. If you don't care if she's patchy, I mean you can just leave it. But obviously, being a groomer, I want her to have a nice finished look. So again, just go over her legs and her thighs. You pick her foot up a little bit. And go over that. So I'm going to just pick up some of the hair by this tendon and just shave over top of it like that to get rid of some of that. One thing you will have to just keep in mind is that she does have her nipples down here that do, they won't get in the way of the clipper so much. The clipper will just go over them. They're not really small enough to get caught inside and cut. But I still like to just be aware that they're there and not try and irritate her in any way. So just be aware of those. So get right up nice and close to her ear there. You can bring it right up to there. For the most of her legs, I'm going to take our number 10 blade and take it a bit shorter because the 7 doesn't always get it quite as short as you want on the legs. Thing. Right here you might be worried that you maybe cut her too short or anything. It's just a cowlick, so the hair grows the opposite way there, just that little spot on the chest, so don't be worried that that's shorter. And she's got a little one there and there as well, just so you know. So again, just remember to don't take the clipper. I'm trying to turn her around. Try not to take the clipper this way. Always go down, sort of as the hair grows down this way. You would like it goes straight here and then kind of curves down. So you kind of want to go in that direction. But then just remember again this little flap here. You have to be careful of that. So again, like I said, for the bottom of her legs, I'm going to take it a bit shorter, just because the 7 can't always get in all the little curves and everything. So take your number 10 blade and just lightly go over the, past her knee and over her foot. You have to remember she's got that back dew claw, so try not to, like, go from this angle. You'd get caught on that. You won't cut it, but you might irritate it a little bit. So you can even take that on the inside, but just be aware of that little dew claw. It is attached by bone. Sometimes the back ones are only by skin, but it is attached by bone. So, because sometimes the skin ones are a little bit flimsier and you could actually clip them off by accident, but hers is a bit more sturdy because it's attached by bone. It's okay. So just again go over any areas that are a bit more shaggy that didn't get taken down nicely with the 7. Just go over with the 10. Stay. This will give her a cleaner look. It won't be as patchy or anything. And she also has a cowlick. All dogs have it. Right here on the back of her forearm. So that'll look a little bit shorter. That's normal. See? There we go. One trick that you can do for her tummy area, because she is short, it's hard to get the clipper. As you can see, there's a lot of long hair under here. So take your 10, and again, watch out for her little nipples there. You just don't want to irritate them. And you can take it just gently down her tummy. And you can go reverse right here. And then if you see any hair in here that you missed, you can just go over that. So, and then that leaves her underline a little bit cleaner there. Okay, so now that I've taken her legs a bit shorter with our number 10 blade, your next step will be scissoring. So I would recommend getting definitely some sort of hair cutting scissors. You don't want to do this with just kitchen scissors. You can do use human hair cutting scissors that you can get a little bit cheaper at Walmart or some sort of hair cutting store. So mine are a little bit curved. I'll show you if you can see that. They're not quite straight. That's not a big deal. I mean, this is just more for groomers to get a cleaner cut. But so basically what you want to do is just trim around her feet to get them a bit nicer looking, because they're still a little bit scraggly. Stay, sweetie. Before, when I would do her long haircuts, I would scissor her whole legs. I wouldn't take them quite as tapered and short as this. So just watch out for her tail and lift up her paw and just scissor around the edges. You have to really watch out for her pads. Never scissor over top of her pads, just because if she were to quickly move, you can actually cut them, and that's a tough one to heal. It's not quite as easy to heal as just skin, because they're never not walking on their pads, so you have to be careful around the pads. I usually scissor once from the bottom like this, and then put her paw on the ground, and then just do a clean circle around. Her nails are kind of a guideline for you as to how close you cut. Once you feel her nails on the edges there, you don't have to worry about it. So now I just kind of comb up and find any little pieces of hair that I should take a bit shorter. Again, just always have your hand on her to make sure that she's going to be staying still. You wouldn't want her to move last minute. But it does happen. Okay, so now I've finished trimming up her feet and her legs with my scissors, just going over, combing up, finding just little random stray hairs to clean off. So now on her face, I've trimmed this half a little bit so that I can just show you this half, as our battery's getting a little low. So basically what you want to do, Abbie, sit, is you're going to want to comb down her bangs. And this is if you want to keep a little bit of a shape to her head, which I think looks nice. So you want to take your scissors and just clear away some of that that you just combed down around her eyes. Obviously try and keep her as still as possible for this part, since you're around her eyes. Hey. Stay. She knows we're almost done, so she's getting a little excited to have you guys pick her up. So now that we've done that, you can just take a little bit more off. And then I like to get rid of what's back here. behind her ear a little bit, like this. Just to take that off, and you can hold her ear down and comb that little bit of hair that's there. That'll give her a bit of a cleaner line. So now what I like to do is comb up her little, what's left of her little, the side of her face and her little mustache there. Stay, sweetie, stay. So we're going to comb that up and just hold the bottom of her chin. Hopefully you can see me. You take off, just so that it's meeting up to the side of her face there. You just scissor that off. And like I said, I mean, this part isn't as important if you're not too concerned about the shape. I'm just doing this to try and, you know, make sure she still has a cute sort of teddy bear look to her. Then you can just take off what's on this side here, and moving is a little bit difficult because you can take off more than you want. So basically you're just blending what's here down to her neck, which is shaved there. It's okay, Abbie. So this is normal for most dogs, to squirm a little bit and to whine a little bit. You just have to remember you're not hurting her. It's a part of life. She has to get her hair cut. So you don't feel bad. You just say you're okay and you keep going. Stay. I mean, obviously if it's seeming like there's a real problem, like if she's seeming like she's hurt or something, definitely check over her body. Make sure there's nowhere that you clipped or something, like if you maybe nicked her somewhere. If she keeps paying attention to one area, that might be a possibility. So, you know, I mean, use your best to just judge whether it's just her just kind of whining and wanting to be done, or if it's like, I'm in pain, I need help. And if she is cut somewhere, just get some peroxide and clean it up, depending on the severity of it. If it's just a little nick, I mean, you can just put polysporin on it and it should be fine. Try not to let her itch it or scratch it, because that won't help, or lick even. Don't let her lick it. So now for her ears. Oh, and if it's a more severe cut, I mean, you might have to look into taking her to a vet if it's looking like it's pretty big. So for her ears, this is all depending on what you want. Find her ear leather and just trim an even line. If you want a shorter ear while you're there, you can just make that call and take it up a bit shorter. Like this is more of a flat ear, like it's basically a line at the bottom, but you can do more of a triangle, and that's cutting up closer to the ear leather, like you would take that stuff off and what's back here. You can also shave the ear if you want with your number 10 or your number 7, either way. But if you do decide to shave, watch out for these little joins of skin right here at the top of the ear. You'll just have to be careful for that and just trying to maneuver around that. So basically right now what I'm doing is just cleaning up the top of her head. Our battery's getting lower, so I'm trying to do this quickly. Under her chin here, you just want to cut that off. So hold her face like that, cut it off. Any little extra pieces around there, that should be fine. And then remember to trim her tail. You can just cut that straight. Watch out for the bottom of her tail and cut that straight off. So yeah, do your best to groom her on your own. If you need any help, you can feel free to contact me. If you're finding you need a better clipper or something, let me know, and I can probably get one shipped out to you if you're having trouble finding one. So yeah, just do your best. Fleas. I wanted to mention about fleas. That could be an issue there if she's coming into contact with other dogs that are carrying fleas. That can be solved with just a flea shampoo, or there's other options of the drops that you can get at any pet store or any vet, and those go on the back of her neck. And that protects her for about 3 months, I think, those drops. You do have to be careful. Some dogs, depending on their skin, that can irritate them, but just keep your eye on it. And sorry, I'm talking very fast. I know it's a lot of information, but I want to get this to you before our battery dies. So when you're grooming her, just check over all of her skin. Just be constantly looking for any if you're noticing any warts or anything, just keep your eye on things like that as she gets older. That's a good thing to watch out for. Trying to think if there's anything else I can help you out with. So yeah, just do your best. So this is a good length for the number 7 to protect her from the sun. As you can see, she's still got some covering there. You can take her down with the number 10 blade if you want, but that's all over her body, but that's getting a bit short for protection against the sun. So there she is, all clean and cute. Do your best to just do what you can. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Thanks.